Hello, it's Matty coming at you with another Planet Coaster Park Spotlight. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to the video and welcome to Welfare's Planco Adventure Park. Now that is a mouthful and a half, I'm not gonna lie. Now I'm very excited to have a special guest with me today. Now there are some that say he is contemplating starting his own t-shirt brand with I Heart Planet Coaster on it. I have Michael from M&J Games. Say hello, Michael.
Hey Matty, how you doing, man? Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. I'm glad my intro made you laugh. Oh, my work here is done. We can end the spotlight here.
You threw me for a loop, man. I know you. The last time we practiced, it was something different, so I was not expecting that. I'm creating shirts with Planco or whatever. So
I like to keep people on their toes, mate. That's what he says. But anyway, this is a PlayStation 5 park. So let's have a look at this park on the workshop, shall we? So the description reads: set in an old warehouse industrial park, Welfare's Planco Adventure Park is my first complete park. It's a mix of custom workshop and existing pieces. The park was originally created on the PS4, then I managed to add the back section when I got my PS5. Thanks to Matty, I've heard of him, he's terrible. Smokey Joe and Insomniac YouTube, now they are both very good. For their workshop creations that I have used. Park can be viewed day or night. Coasters have more effect at night. Fireworks show times 7 and 9 PM. Enjoy and please rate. So without further ado, let's hop into this park, shall we? Right, so here we are at the park entrance. So nothing too flashy and fancy going on here really, just using some of the in-game blueprints just to create this entranceway. But one thing I have noticed straight away, I am happy instantly, is we've got some paint tool just around there, like kind of faded the grass around there, so I'm happy straight away. So love it. And let's hop through to the entrance. So Michael, what are your thoughts on this entrance just as we walk down here then?
You know, I think it's nice for using in-game pieces too. I think a little bit more decoration potentially in this area. It's just a little bare. But I know reading through the description, there's stuff off the workshop and stuff. So I'm really interested to see how this creator kind of integrates that. And I believe this creator took something from a guy called Iron Matty. So I don't know what Iron Matty would have possibly made that is worthy of being in this park. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see on that.
Iron Matty? What a stupid name that is. Who'd pick a stupid name like that, honestly?
I don't know. I want to be a YouTuber, so.
Ah, touche. Oh, Michael with the claws out. Oh dear. Well, we can't all be as big as you and M&J, can we? Big as you and Jasmine. Oh, congrats by the way on 900. By the way.
Oh, thank you.
Which you reached earlier on today. So yeah, big congrats with that. But anyway, Michael, the reason I've invited you to the spotlight is because this park has got some of the best backstage areas I have ever seen, even rivaling yours, I would say.
Oh, awesome.
So I'm very excited to start showing you because I know you love your backstage realism and things like that, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. That's honestly one of my favorite things to make in the game is the realism pieces that the guests can't use. So it just kind of adds that realistic aspect to parks.
Yeah, completely agree. And I love all this main street, you know. I absolutely love this. Just the sightline that it gives. You can see through the entire park as well. It's really nice and open and expansive. It just feels inviting.
Yeah, it does. It does for sure. And the one thing, that I would change is, I know this is kind of throughout the park, is, using the curbs, the in-game curbs. I would either take those off and put custom curbs, do some maybe custom planners or something, just because that adds that just adds to the detail of it. But I agree. I mean, this is the building pieces are nice. And sometimes I forget about using this building kind of style and it really works.
Yeah, it's not one that I use a lot actually. I'm trying to find this ride. Where are we going? I saw a ride there.
Right there.
Right. We go right through.
Custom fencing.
Side. Oh, I love it. Really nice as well. And oh, look what we've got here as well.
Ah, a stage. But
yeah,
I guess
who
who?
made that? I wonder who made it.
This YouTuber named Iron Matty.
The thing is, though, he's taken my thing and made it better. I don't like that. You can't take my stuff and then improve it. That's not fair. That is awesome. What he's actually
Maybe
done.
that should.
Sorry, go on.
Maybe that just means it wasn't that good to begin with, then, huh?
I think that
if there's been room for improvements.
Have you seen what he's done?
Fantastic.
He's managed to extend the path, something I couldn't do in mine.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So he's managed to get the path coming all the way down. He's added a DJ as well. Oh, I love that. Sorry, I was getting completely sidetracked. I was trying to have a look at this flat ride, but I was like, ooh, I recognise that. So,
gosh, I love those scaffolding light posts across the top and the lights. And I feel like we got to look at this at night.
Yeah,
let's do it. Have some
let's have a
disco
look
style,
at that, shall we? Wow, Michael, you weren't wrong. This is mental.
Yeah, this is awesome.
That is absolutely fantastic. Just really nice lighting, and we've got confetti as well, which anybody who knows Planet Coaster and Moomin Little Socks will be like, confetti please, Jerry. So, we've got smoke going on. Love it.
This just reminds me of like old skating rinks, you know?
Yes,
they're playing the
old.
I
get that.
Yeah, the old like 90s pop, early 2000s, and yeah.
Oh, love it.
This is awesome.
Right, anyway, let's hop out and carry on, shall we? So, now we've swapped it back to date, let's carry on, shall we? So, we'll carry on down here. And what we're going to do is we'll come up here, and I think, shall we go left, Michael, do you reckon?
I think so. I think that's a good call.
Yeah, and then kind of like just work back on ourselves a little bit, because there's multiple ways around this park as well. One thing I'm noticing is the use of foliage in this park is really nice. Looks quite realistic. I can see that everything's been turned as well. Like this little feature that we've got here. That's all custom made as well. Really nicely done. I can see a waterfall off in the background over there. Let's turn left, shall we? Let's have a look around here.
You know, a piece of advice I was given recently by Coaster Creations, and this is not to say like anything, because I kind of mixed the green and kind of orange trees together. And one little bit of advice he kind of gave was, when you do that, it's almost like you're not really picking a time of year in a way. Because if you think about it, like orange trees you don't really have orange trees when you have green trees, right? It's really only in fall.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's not nothing or anything against having this, because I do think we are limited on the type of trees, and it does look good mixing it. But that's just kind of a little bit of advice that I got recently that I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm just admiring everything as we come through. There's just so much to look at everywhere. It's so much realism. And have you seen this piece?
Yeah, a little vent. I didn't realize we had that until like a week ago, and I'm like, what?
No, nor did I. It's a Spook Central vent. How have I never seen that piece before, and why have I not been using that piece? But the wiring look as well, going to the security cable, to the generator, and then coming across to the lights. Just these little attention to detail. And then
what's laying on there?
I was going to say, and then we've got these. So we've got all this realistic park, and then we've got these pink little things lying on the floor, kind of completely breaking the immersion.
Let me point out one more thing there real quick, because I want to notice if you picked up on no, you're good. Did you pick up on the little bit of detail that he did with the fencing there that really just kind of adds to it? If you zoom out a little bit, look at kind of the edges of the fencing and then where the door is.
Oh, are that like little tiny pillars?
Yeah, just adding that scaffolding post. And then I feel like if you were to even turn that horizontal and put it on the top, just adding that little bit of detail just makes it look nicer too. And I love that aspect of it. Just the attention to detail is really awesome.
I would have never noticed that, but it really does add to it. Yeah, you're right. Just fantastic. I love all this realism. As you look around everywhere, I can see like kind of the vent up there as well. I love these realism pieces.
For sure.
To come into a park like this. Now, of course, this is using a lot of workshop items in this park, but I don't think it detracts from it. Look at that ride going around the water there.
Ooh.
Just honestly, my eyes are all over the place, Michael. There's so many places to look in this park. I can't quite believe it, but look at this.
Yeah, that ride height sign is amazing.
Now, we've done a lot of spotlights between us before now. Have you ever seen a ride height that good before? I know I haven't.
Nope, definitely not.
How has he actually made it? I don't understand how he's made it. It's only 21 pieces as well. What's he used? Oh, hang on a second. Have you seen that? It's just a sign, and he's put loads of eyes and coloured it green.
That's insane.
That is crazy. Honestly, that is fantastic. That is one of the best ride height signs I've seen yet on console.
I'm gonna steal that idea.
I think I might have to as well, I'm not gonna lie. So anyway, we've got our first ride. So come down this queue path. Quite nice inside here, just this industrial warehouse feel, just as we come through.
Yeah, the only thing I'd say, and I love like those like scaffolding, whatever those shelves are and stuff, but I would just add beams across the top. Whether you use scaffolding posts or even coaster support beams, since those are thicker, or even the thick wooden beams like the Honda House beam, just add beams across the top, like maybe every 8 meters or so, just because it would give that realism sense of having the support for the roof and stuff.
Yeah,
that's just my one piece of advice.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement with that. I think it would just add to it, because whilst this does look really good and it looks quite realistic, I just think that would add to it just that little bit more. So yeah, in complete agreement. So anyway, we've reached our first ride. So nice station build as well. Again, just keeping that industrial feel in here, keeping that warehouse feel. So what have we got here then? So express delivery. I like the name. That's a nice name. We've got green across the board, very nice. G-force is all under 6, which is nice to see as well. What else have we got on here? So we've got 4 inversions, 2 airtime counts. So first ride of the park, let's do it. Enjoy, everybody. So there we have express delivery. So Michael, what were your thoughts on that?
I thought it was fantastic. I think the layout was really awesome. Just the interaction with the water and the path, and then kind of going under that tunnel and having that kind of little launch up the first hill into the small helix was fantastic. I think it could have used a little more banking, but overall, a great coaster, smooth coaster, and just the animatronics and triggers on the ride are just fantastic.
I'm complete agreement. I think that was absolutely fantastic. Really nicely smoothed. Of course, I'm going to love it because it goes over this giant water feature. And look at the triggers that he's got going on there. I mean, that is just sensational. Really, really good ride. I thoroughly enjoyed that. And we've even got a transfer track here as well, Michael, just for you. I know that you're always saying that you like to see the transfer tracks as well. So, there you go.
Seeing one of these is like when you're watching a movie and somebody sees something they really like and it's like, duh! So that's what it's like when when I see a transfer track is, I mean, I understand why people don't make them, just from piece count and the limits we have, but it's really nice to see, even if they're not decked out in the interior, it's really nice for that, like all the realism put into this park and thought about how employees would get to the coasters and all this different stuff just, makes it stand out even more to me. Like this little area here, and you got the little track pieces, just really well done.
See, now, Welfare actually did message me and say before he started this park, he's actually a big fan of Moomin Little Socks, Nerd Chat Show, me, and you. And he's actually watched a lot of our videos and kind of like taken inspiration from like us four with how to do this park. And I think that shows as well. I'm getting like kind of real, almost like PC, like your Moomin and your Nerd Chat Show levels of realism in here, especially with like these backstage areas as well. We've got the silo, which was mine from Eden Gardens, but I actually copied that from Moomin's A Very British Park. Now, I did ask him if that was okay, because obviously I didn't want to just like kind of take the idea and just use it myself, but he said that was fine. So yeah, that was actually Moomin's, then mine on consoles. So yeah, just brilliant. We've got Insomniac's JCB Diggers just over here as well. Yeah, and I love this as well, Michael. You're talking about realism. Look how he's put all the don't die fencing like all around here,
absolutely.
just underneath the ride. Just amazing. So anyway, we need to hop over here and have a look at this. So we come to our go-karts. So I like how the TV's broken there.
Yep, absolutely.
And let's have a look down here, shall we? Oh, I love this queue line. I love this queue line. That is ace. And he's even got this little blocked off section here, look. So when it gets busier, they'd move the tyres and extend the queue line. That's amazing.
That is really cool. And now I know that this, this station, some of these pieces like come with the in-game part, but I think it just looks awesome.
Yeah.
So we can say, well done, Frontier, on making a nice go-kart station.
Yeah, he did actually say that he'd used... So the go-kart was the only ride, in-game ride that he had used for the park. So all the other coasters he's actually done himself, but the go-karts he's taken from the workshop and then kind of like decorated around it. So, but still, the way that he's implemented it, I think is a really good job, and the way that he's decorated all around it, it really fits the theme of the park as well. And I don't know about you, Michael, but go-karts are not something that I see very often.
Yeah, I agree, and it's something that I've yet to make. So I feel like there's so much that goes into making the go-karts realistic, and like putting that fencing around. And it maybe doesn't look like much, but man, does it add to the realism of it, and it's so tedious to place those things. Yeah. And then, I mean, those signs, those tires, I mean, impressive.
Yeah, a lot of work gone into this, and it really does show as well. So, yeah, great job. I think that's absolutely fantastic. Really nicely implemented into the park. So, yeah, great job. So, anyway, let's hop out the exit, and, oh, wow.
Oh, I love that milkshake feeling.
That's
wow,
awesome.
That's phenomenal.
It's very retro, and it almost feels like Grease or something. I'm expecting John Travolta to come walking out in a second. Go Grease Lightning. Go Grease Lightning.
Oh, I see what you're saying. It just makes me think of like some of the old like 80s movies, like Dazed and Confused, or 90s movies, whatever, Dazed and Confused and stuff like that. I don't know, it almost like, it just kind of gives me that vibe of like the go-karts have been in the park for like 20 years and they're trying to kind of make that kind of fit a theme or style, because you don't really see go-karts being put in new parks. They've kind of been there a long time. So that's probably one of the first areas of the park, if we were to think about in reality which part would have been built first,
Yeah, I completely agree. But what I think we'll do is I think we'll walk back here and then we'll go over to the right side of the park, I think. So now I know, Michael, that you're kind of like eyeing this area up over here. You're like, oh, car park, but I'm like, water feature. You're like, car park, and I'm like, water feature.
Water feature.
Now,
and I'm like, quite custom fence.
No, forget the custom fence. Water feature. I could quite happily spend an hour spotlight just in this one little section alone, just like admiring all this water feature, but I don't think people would appreciate it. I don't think that makes good content viewing, is me just kind of like gushing over the water features and how much I love them. But I mean, that is a good water feature, to be fair.
Well, and look at the foliage, the use of the foliage too, like the little pieces of land. I mean, this is like, you know, maybe this person should have made the tutorial on water features instead of this Iron Matty person.
They would have done a lot better job. To be honest, I think this creator should have created Eden Gardens. I think they would have done a lot better job, to be honest. I'm not going to lie. But anyway, now
this is fantastic.
Now you've sat there insulting me. Let's carry on, shall we? So it's nice to see a decent car park for once instead of one from M&J Games.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. The unrealistic car parks I make. The overly large car parks.
The massively big car parks. No, this is really nice. I really like this.
Yeah, this is great. I like
the fact that he's got the tunnel as well, just coming in as well. He's got the security guard there with the barrier, and they've even kind of thinking like the security guard would need to push the buttons to lift the barrier up as well. And
see, I almost feel like
it's even on a thing. Look.
That's awesome. Oh, that's a cool. Yeah, I need to steal that idea too. So, but no, one thing too that I wonder about this is I wonder if this is meant to be like an employee car park, you know?
Yeah, maybe.
Because you got the door to the building back there, a couple doors it looks like. So it looks like this is more aligned to be where the employees would come, especially since you've got that security guard there.
That does make sense, you know. Yeah, I think you might be right actually. Yeah, I would say so. I'll go with it.
Yeah, but man, we need more doors in this game. Like the only like actual three-dimensional doors that we give are those right there. Which, don't get me wrong, look good, but it's like just wish we had more variety. And then we got another, looks like another car park, not car park, but another little bit of realism back here.
And one thing that he's done as well is all of these staff rooms are in backstage areas. So
yeah,
the staff
I like that.
Actually walk into the backstage areas to go for their breaks, which is just amazing. He's got all the papers here with the bins. Just honestly, these are some of the best backstage areas I've seen. These, I'm going to be honest, these rival some of yours, I think, Michael. And I consider yours to be of a very, very high standard. But
I appreciate it. Yeah, I'd agree on that.
Absolutely fantastic.
It's interesting too, looking at the different colorings of the warehouse and stuff, and yeah, I mean, this looks really good. Really love it.
All the wiring, look again, Michael. Just every light connected to the wire. The security camera is not connected to electricity, nor are them lights. This is so unrealistic.
I think we should stop this tour then. This isn't deserving.
Well. Yeah, what an absolute disgrace of a park.
So bye, guys.
You've been spending too much time with me.
Yep.
That's the type of thing that I do. I think I may be
about
having
that
a
all the
negative
time.
influence on you.
Yeah, just wasting too much of my life hanging out with Matty.
But
from honestly, a 4,000-mile distance.
It must be as well. But anyway, I love this. I love this walkway.
Yeah, it's great.
Here. We've got a paint tool used everywhere. Look at all the weeds down the side. I mean, just the amount of touches of realism in this park. I know we keep saying it the more we're coming through, but it just is. It's just realistic. And
yeah, it is.
It's nice to see as well, because I'm going to be honest with you, Michael, these are my favourite types of park. I love the ultra realism. This is my cup of tea. I like obviously the theme, like kind of your Western, your pirates and all this kind of stuff, but these like ultra realistic parks this is my forte. I love this. So
I agree, and I think that's part of the reason why, I mean, probably you and I, when we look at like PC gamers, we gravitate towards creators like Chacho and Moomin, just because it does focus more on realism than and not that they don't theme, because they do, but it's more in that realism aspect. And so for me, like, I'd take realism over theming any day. But I mean, everybody's different, and so that's what's so great about this game is everybody approaches it differently, and nobody's right or wrong. It's what makes the most sense to that person or how they want to play it.
Yeah, as as Moomin says, like he will spend more time creating things that the guests don't use rather than the things that the guests do use.
This looks awesome.
So yeah, I'm just hovering over this. This was actually mine as well. So this was originally created for Eden Gardens, but I ended up ripping it out. But yeah, that one is mine and on the workshop. So again,
so no wonder you spent so much time hovering over it.
I just really, really wanted people to appreciate how good it was. That's what it is. It was mine, so it had to be more time spent on that. But
nah. Yeah, that little flat ride to the right looked great. The little track ride.
I'm just trying to find the entrance to it. I'm assuming it must be down here. Yes, it is. So, Planko Autos. So, right. Just honestly, there is paint tool everywhere.
Yeah, and I'll just say this one more time, as I know I said it before, but like, this park would look even better if it was either custom curbs or just took the curbs off. Because you can kind of see. To me, it just kind of takes away from some of the areas. But you know, that's an area of kind of improving in the game and growing. And I didn't used to do custom curbing at all, whereas now it's like I don't ever use the in-game curbs unless I like absolutely have to. But man, this track ride is awesome.
Yeah, really nice queue as well. Just really nicely themed all the way around. So let's go for an imaginary ride, shall we? So. Again, you really, really are spending too much time with me, Michael. I am having such a negative influence on you.
Is it really negative, though?
I don't know. You don't want to be more like me. That's a bad thing. I love this track ride. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Mm-hmm. The only thing I would potentially say is maybe just put the curbing or fencing on just around this little bit here, just where they can kind of like fall into the pond, just in case like kind of you've got kids jumping out of the car and trying to dive into the water or something. Just because of like how realistic this park is, and like kind of going for that ultra realism. I think if you're thinking of guest safety, then you would need to have the fencing just around this one little bit here to prevent them from falling out of the car into the water. But fantastic ride. Paint tool used all the way around. Foliage used all the way around. I love the fact that it
looks amazing.
Like the rest of the park, to be honest. Like everything else that we've seen, just looks brilliant. I would maybe like to see a little bit more decoration on the station floor rather than just that blue, potentially, but I think that's the only thing. So, right, anyway, Michael, we've got something more up your alley. We have another coaster. I can see over here.
Yeah.
So, let's go and have a look at this, shall we? So, we have Speed. So, once again, we've got the custom ride height. We've got another screen once again. I love the fact that he's put screens on as well.
Mm-hmm.
We've got lockers just right next to it again. And we'll have a look at all the realism stuff after we've been for a ride, shall we? So let's have a look down the queue path. So we've got the fast pass just there, but we're not going to go down the fast pass. We're going to go down the proper queue and have a look around as we go. So I can see a backstage maintenance over there, transfer track.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Golly, I'm trying to figure out where the station is.
I'm just trying. So maybe just look at putting one car on instead of two, because given the fact that they are sat there waiting and the car isn't even full, that's one thing I am going to say straight away is maybe this ride does only need the one car as opposed to two. But anyway, right. So we've got this very unique station, very open. Yeah, great. I like this. And it's quite a generic ride as well. Not too much going on with this, so let's have a look at the stats. Definitely only one car. Just having a look around that as well.
Looks like a stealth type recreation. Not necessarily recreation, but whatever. I'm blanking on my words now. Whatever it's called when you get inspired by. This was inspired by stealth. There we go. That's what it looks like.
We'll go with it. So we've got 7.31 G, so quite high. But let's go for a ride. We'll have a look and we'll see what we think afterwards. So, there we have Speed, with no Keanu Reeves or Sandra Bullock in sight. So, Michael, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I'm guessing the vertical G's come right there at the beginning when it starts going up that top hat, because it looks like it's a pretty sharp kind of turn to go up that hill. And I think overall, I think it's, it looks pretty true to some of these I forget these intimate, I forget the technical name for them, but for these short coasters, the only thing, if you look back at the station for a second, is when this coaster goes,
Right.
you can't see the light when you launch, and then also it's only like a fifth of the coaster car is actually out of the station before you launch. So I would have just corrected this to make sure the entire coaster car, like, let's see if we can see this here.
Yeah, I believe it's just about to go, I think. Or maybe not.
Yeah, is out of the station
Let's just
before.
a second. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right, so yeah, so you can see it stops there. So it's like you
Right.
still got over half of the car that's in the station, which is not realistic. Because you'd have to have either all of your launch, at least to my understanding, you'd have to have all of your launch mechanisms and gears underneath the station, like some of these coasters have where they launch from the station, or it actually out of the station. So that's the one thing I would change. But other than that, I think, pretty solid ride, maybe a little bit more brakes earlier to kind of have it not be too fast going around that turn. And of course, the transfer track, love it.
I must admit, I don't profess to be an expert when it comes to the recreation side of the ride that you said. I can't even remember the name of it, I'm sorry. What was it you said? I'm sorry, Michael.
Stealth, I think
Stealth.
It's at Thorpe Park. Yeah.
Right. So if it is a recreation of that, I'm not really familiar with it, so I don't really know that much. But the only thing I would say really is just have one car. I don't feel like it needs two cars just to keep that. I mean, that was green across the board, despite the fact that how long they're sat there. They're sat there for quite a long time, sat there waiting for this car to go, and it's still green across the board. So imagine how high them stats would be if they weren't sat waiting. So
yeah, well,
sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say, we know that's one thing. Hopefully, in Planet Coaster 2 that they fix is like the stat levels in this game are just wonky.
Yeah.
Like some coasters go all green when you're like, what in the world? That was the roughest ride I've ever been on. And then some of them, it's just kind of weird how it goes. But I mean, I love the flags there. And my first thought when I saw the open station was like, you got to have somewhere that's covered for the trains, but then you do have the transfer track back there. But I totally agree. I would just run one car. No need to run two.
Yeah.
Except if it's a busy day. And as you can see, it's not a busy day for this ride.
Yeah, and also we had ride cameras as well, which I had noticed, really nice with the ride photo booths. And I must admit, Welfare's water features are some of the best water features I've seen. I
Agreed.
absolutely love them. I think they're fantastic. So we have Insomniac's Arcade. So that is on the workshop. A lot of people will be familiar with that one. I like how the ride goes over the top of it like that. Nice.
Oh, and that drop tower to the left. That was a cool view.
Yeah, that was quite good timing actually, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Just as we went down there. And it was called Speed, and we had a bus as well. So,
oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if maybe that was intentional or not. Maybe a little Easter egg. I don't know. I'm going to go with it. I'm going to pretend that it was. So, right, so we've got the first aid here. And as we carry on around here, what have we got here then? Oh, so we have...
I'm guessing it's the water ride.
Yeah.
Okay. River Rapids.
And do you know what I really like is queue lines. They're very open, but there's always a lot to see on them at the same time as well.
Yeah,
Now,
I totally agree.
Shall we go for a ride on it, Michael? Shall we actually go for a ride on the River Rapids? Rather than flying around, shall we actually sit down and go for a ride? Let's have a chill, shall we?
Yeah, let's go for a ride on the River Rapids.
So, off we go. We'll have a talk as we go around, shall we, Michael? So, let's just pan the camera around and have a look around as we go. I mean, this is beautiful as well. Look at all the lighting that we've got. And this is actually triggered as well, Michael. So I haven't changed the time of day here. This is actually triggered to turn to night automatically. So,
oh, wow, that's impressive.
So this is a default night ride anyway. You can't actually ride this in the day even if you wanted to. So we just come through this cave system. I like how we've got the rain just coming through as well, so we've got all the droplets. Really feels like a proper genuine cave.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's something that I haven't really seen too often, and looks great.
Come up here. The whole park looks beautiful at night as well. Now, I know we haven't, of course, looked around the entire park properly at night yet, but just as we've gone around the coasters and just the sightlines, I mean, look at that sightline, Michael. Just that colouring and the lighting that we've got going on.
Yeah, it looks phenomenal.
And a really nice river rapids as well. Feels more like a visual experience than anything else.
Yeah, and one thing I love too is, you know, I haven't really seen the spotlights used a lot, those different colored spotlights, and he kind of uses them a lot throughout the park, but it really fits.
Yeah.
And it really works, and it makes me realize that I'm like, man, I could use these a lot more if I wanted to. Just because sometimes trying to find the right lighting in this game can be a little annoying.
Yeah.
So,
I
to say the
love
least.
this rain effect that is used everywhere. It's just been used so much.
Yeah, this is really, really cool.
And have you seen all the fireflies that are hanging around besides? You said about the spotlights. You've got all the fireflies around them as well, look. Now, I don't know if that's going to come through on the video or not, because unfortunately this video will be 1080p rather than 4K because there's two of us doing it, which unfortunately is one of the bit of the caveats of when we do two people. So hopefully when we get a little bit closer, they will come through in the video so other people will be able to see them as well. And that's just, oh, it's just beautiful as you come through here.
Yeah, isn't it kind of crazy the time we live in where we have to apologize to people that the video's in 1080p instead of 4K? Like, we're in such an advanced society that sorry you can't watch a video in 4K.
But in a couple of years, we'll be apologising for 4K because everyone will be filming in 8K.
Yep,
but
that
anyway,
is true.
Here we come to the end of the ride. What an absolutely amazing river rapids. Absolutely love it. Let's hop off, shall we? So, Michael, just before we move on, any more thoughts on the river rapids?
No, I think we pretty much touched on it during the ride. I think it's really well done. You got the elevation changes, and you know, at first when we kind of saw the end portion of it, I saw that you could see it all out of water like that. I was like, okay, I'm hoping the whole ride's not like that, and of course it wasn't. And it was really well done, like you talked about. Just the little effects and triggers were just phenomenal. One of the best I've seen on console, in my opinion.
I would 100% agree with that. I was kind of half wanting to say it, that it's one of the best rapids that I'd seen, but I was unsure if you would be in agreement with that or not. But given the fact that you've said it, I'm like, yep, 100%. I fully agree. So, right, let's carry on.
I feel like whenever we do a spotlight, we always look at a great river rapids, like that one we did a couple times back with that park that you were like, how in the world did we miss this?
Yes.
That river rapids was insane.
Yeah,
and so I mean this one's kind of
So as we walk down here, we have two different things that you may recognize. So we have the Gulpy Bungee that came from Eden Gardens, and then as we turn right, we have the playground from Eden Gardens. So both from me. So what's that, 5 things in the park that have come from me? I think it is 4, 5, something like that. So yeah, thank you ever so much. I believe that's all of the items now from me in the park, I think. So yeah, thank you ever so much. I really appreciate it. We've got this Gears of Fear here with an amazing ride sign as well.
Mm-hmm.
That.
Yeah,
sorry,
for
sounded
sure.
like you were going to say something. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying, I just love that sign. Like, it's just the detail that he's put in with the signs and the ride signs, and that Gears of Fear sign, I think that's what it's called, was awesome. And then Stunt Pilot sign right there. I mean, really utilizing the scaffolding pieces a lot. Love it.
I'm just kind of like working my way back down here just to make sure that we haven't like missed of anything of important just before we kind of carry on with the tour. So this was where the drop tower was. So we'd missed the queue line for that. So this is where the car ride was, so we can just kind of like just turn around and walk back up. I just wanted to make sure that we hadn't missed anything like kind of important just as before we carried on around the park. So
I agree.
But the foliage is just jumping out at me everywhere. It's all the bushes and the weeds and the rocks and everything. Just sight lines. Again, a really nice sight line going down there past the boat ride. Just fantastic. So, right, backstage area again there, Michael.
Yeah, music to my ears right there. So, right. Absolutely.
I think we've only got the one area left. So we just walk past this flat ride here. So nicely themed. I like that. That's not part of the default. How do I not recognize this ride?
No, that ride is that I don't. Can you click on the middle? Is that actually part of it? Like if you. That's part of it, huh?
How have I never seen this ride before?
I mean, I've seen the ride, but I feel like it didn't have that middle piece.
That is really bizarre. How strange is that? I just feel like it's missing King Kong at the top.
Yeah.
But anyway, so let's carry on walking down here. So this is where we were earlier on, Michael. So this is where we were when we turned left. So what we can do now is we'll carry on. So we've got this flat ride in the middle. I love that. How close it comes.
Oh yeah, that looks awesome.
Oh, that'd take some guts to go on that. You wouldn't catch me on that. I'm not going on that. No.
You know what I think of every time I see that ride?
What's that?
The claw.
From Toy Story.
Yep, my terrible impression because I'm terrible with impressions. So
it's called the Iron Claw.
Yep. It's like your feet just almost hit those buildings. That'd be so terrifying.
Yeah, it's very close. But anyway, we come up here and we've got all these Midway games. So I believe these are Smokey Joe.
Okay.
I think, or Clary Bread. But Clary Bread wasn't mentioned in the description, so I think these must all be Smokey Joe. It's just this one over here. I thought I recognised that one as Clary Bread's. Or either that or she'd done one very similar, at least. So, right, so what have we got over here? We've got another flat. There's so much to look at in this park, isn't there? There's just details everywhere.
Yeah, this is insane. I mean, I love this loop-the-loop ride. I mean, this looks so creative with the coloring scheme, and then look how many inversions it has. I mean, I can count 1, 2, 3, technically a non-inverting loop, but 4, 5, 6. Look how slow it goes through that layout as well. Wow. Oh, and a 7th one over there.
Yeah.
Woo.
Crazy. And the actual loop-the-loop is actually triggered as well, look, so it keeps changing colour. Shall we just stop messing about? Shall we just go on it? Shall we do it?
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
Here's another thing I love too, is every single ride height sign is a different color depending on the color scheme of the coaster.
Look how long this queue is. That is insane. And look how busy it actually is as well. That's nuts. But what an amazing station once again. Absolutely brilliant. Let's have a look at the stats. I just want to see stats now. So we're not green across the board. Doesn't matter. G-force is under 6. How many inversions? 11. 11 inversions.
Wow.
So, right, without further ado, let's go for a ride. Enjoy, everyone. Wow. That was crazy. That was absolutely fantastic. I feel like we spent more time upside down than we did facing the right way, I'm not gonna lie. But absolutely brilliant. It's crazy. Like just how many times you're upside down, how many times you're looping, but I would 100% go on that. Really smooth, great inversions throughout, great touches of realism all the way throughout. You had a ride camera again, the lighting is absolutely fantastic. Amazing transfer track. What more can I say? Nothing else I can say. Michael, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's awesome. I mean, just the way that you kind of barely go through the inversions is really cool. I think and it almost gives like a fair style ride with it being on tarmac, but yet then you kind of actually get on the coaster and you got a lot of foliage. You got the water features. I love those tunnels of lights right there. And if we look at the transfer track real quick, because I love the touches of realism. So one thing I would say on this is, and I had this, I would do this as well early on. If you look there, there's not actually space for the track to actually transfer over to put a train onto the transfer track. And so that's one thing, like that second, that actual transfer track piece, just shorten it up to where you actually have you can basically give enough space for the main track to slide over and put the train on the track in theory. But that's something too, like, early on doing transfer tracks, I would kind of do the same thing, not really even accounting for that. But I just love all the realism here. And then I was going to say too, you got to have a way for the staff to get back there, but there's actually another one of those car entrances and stuff. And I see you looking at your waterfall.
Of course. I got distracted by the water feature. I'm sorry.
Yeah, hey, no worries, man. That's your go-to. That's what I'm like with backstage areas. So, I mean, absolutely love it. I think that's the best coaster in the park, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree with that. Best coaster of the park.
And honestly, I don't think it's close. And that's not the same thing as the other coasters. I just think that one's that good.
Yeah, total agreement. I think that was absolutely sensational. I think this whole park is actually a really high standard, to be honest. Now, we've only got one little bit left to look at, and then I believe we're done. So we've got this flat ride just to our right here. So we have the cube. So I like the integration of the flat rides as well. I like the fact that there's lockers all over the place. We've got a chair plane off in the corner. And then, now, is this the in-game ride? I think it is.
It might be. With how everything's built around it, my guess it would be. Just could you imagine how tedious that would be to build all those mouse support pieces around that thing?
Yeah, that'd be absolutely insane. But anyway, we'll go for a ride of it regardless because it's the last ride of the park. So what we'll do is we'll go for a ride of that anyway, just in case. I'm inclined to believe that it is an in-game blueprint ride, but I want to ride it just in case. I don't want to not ride and then he say that this was actually something that he'd spent 3 days working on himself. So right, let's go for a ride on this one. Enjoy. So, because we are unsure if that was an in-game blueprint or not, I think we'll hold off giving feedback for that because it seems a little bit silly to give feedback if it was an in-game ride. So, nicely integrated into the park, though, gave some nice sight lines as we went around. So, right, Michael,
I want to get your opinion on something real quick.
What's that?
Oh, my bad. Oh, right there. So I want to get your opinion if you go back to that ride, because I know we're not going to talk about like the creation of the ride or anything. If you look below, you see how there's grass below?
Yeah.
I wonder if you think that this would have been a better time to use, like, just put down cement pieces. I wonder your thoughts on that. Do you like the grass more, or do you think the style would kind of fit, you know, having it almost on a cement slab?
I don't know, is the honest answer to that. Does that help?
Yeah.
Was that a good answer? I think either or, if I'm honest. I think it worked for what it was, but I also think it would work with the concrete slabs as well. So I think it was kind of like just going to be. I think if you were doing maybe like kind of a fun fair, like a traveling fun fair, then definitely concrete.
Yeah.
Because you've got to imagine it'd be like kind of on some kind of like on Sainsbury's car park or something like that. Or Walmart, for you, should I say, because you don't have Sainsbury's over there. So Walmart car park. But like, I think for given the fact that it's in an actual like pre-existing theme park, I think it works.
We don't have Walmart over here either.
Do you not?
No, I'm just kidding, man. We got Walmarts on like every corner.
I was going to say, I thought Walmart was American. Anyway, now you're trying to trip me up. I think we have done the entire park. I don't believe we have missed anything.
No, we haven't.
I mean, what a park this is as well. It's absolutely sensational. I mean, Michael, what are your thoughts on the park as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I love the backstage and all the thought that goes into that. I think the coasters are pretty good. You know, I think one thing I would say, and I had somebody tell me this one time on one of my parks, you know, for feedback is, you know, like look at the coaster lineup you're creating, right? Like the 3 main coasters in the park are all launch coasters. Now, they all have different things, but they all kind of are generally go within the same category, if that makes sense. You know, so maybe on the next part, kind of vary it up a little bit, like, you know, do an invert coaster or, you know, just kind of varying up the styles of coasters. But put that aside, really well done. Love the River Rapids ride. I mean, that coaster in the back, the loop-de-loop is like just one of the best done I've seen on console if you take into account everything with that ride and the placement of it, and it just looks beautiful at the back of the park.
Yeah, I agree with everything you've just said. It's really funny because we're just gonna have a walk down here because I don't believe we really looked at this bit.
Oh yeah, we didn't go down there. Yeah,
I'll just have a quick look down here as well. It's really funny because I have spotlighted parks before that have used a lot of workshop items, and I would always say like kind of maybe just try and steer clear of workshop items where possible. Try and build your own. But what Welfare has done here, that was cool. I saw that. Wow, that's a cool trigger. What Welfare has done here, this is some of the best implementation of workshop items I have seen done. Full stop.
Totally agree.
I would normally almost take points away from a park. I would approach a park with loads and loads of workshop items with almost like a little bit of a, well, how do I phrase this? Maybe a little bit of like a negative outlook before I even start them, because I'm like, well, why didn't you do your own? But despite the fact that there was workshop items in this park, for me it didn't detract from it because it was so good. I mean, the foliage work and the realistic touches and the maintenance areas are some of the best I've seen done on console. I think they were sensational. And yeah, for me, the workshop items didn't detract from how good this park was. But anyway, Michael, 3-word park review.
Love the realism.
Oh, you were too quick.
How about that? I honestly didn't think about that beforehand.
That was really good. I'm very impressed.
Quick on my feet.
My 3-word park review would be love my creations because it's got Because it's got all my creations in it.
Somebody's getting full of himself here.
I couldn't think of anything else. I was trying to think of a three-word park review with my creations in the title, and I couldn't think of what to say. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. Love my creations.
It's funny that you're the one that knows you're going to do that at the end of every video, and yet you said you still couldn't come up with anything.
I know. You'd think that I would actually I could do all that kind of the some say at the start, but I can't think of 3 words to sum up a park.
That's true.
Anyway, thank you ever so much, Michael, for joining me in the spotlight.
Of course, man.
It's been a pleasure. Really enjoy doing these spotlights with you. We have an absolute blast, and what a park this was as well. Absolutely insane work. Really well done, well fair. Thank you for reaching out to me and asking me to do the spotlight. Yeah, great job. Can't wait to see what you do next. Maybe try and steer clear from as many workshop items maybe next time, potentially. Maybe try and do some of your own, because of judging from this park, you are more than capable. More than capable of doing your own. So yeah, keep up the great work. Keep me posted on your next park. Can't wait to spotlight it. If you haven't already, make sure to leave a like and a subscribe on this video. And thank you ever so much, Michael. Say goodbye, Michael.
See you, everybody.
Take care, stay safe, look after yourselves, and I will see you in a couple of days for another very special Planet Coaster episode where I'm being joined by the amazing Nerd Chat Show. Goodbye, everybody.